This is going to be part 1 of 4 reviews that I'm going to be doing. Reviewing Batman, the animated series. This is volume 1. And comes with a nice little outside box. See some of the graphics on the back. You see Batman against Killer Croc, against Clayface, and against Catwoman. And there you also see the Joker. There's the Joker. It's a nice little outside box, and then we see on the inside, we see some of his enemies. We see Catwoman. We see Batman and Two-Face, the Joker, Harley Quinn, and the Mad Hatter. On the back, there's Batman and the Man-Bat, the Riddler, Killer Croc, Clayface, the Batmobile, and Mr. Freeze, who has Batgirl in a block of ice. This is volume 1. This is the iconic animated series that aired on Fox from 1992 to 1995. And this has some really good episodes on it, including the classic On Leather Wings, which was kind of the first episode, which featured the Man-Bat. And Batman was actually blamed for a series of robberies, which were committed by a bat-winged creature. We see enemies on this particular disc set. We see the Joker, Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, a few original villains. We see the origin story of Two-Face, Two-Face Part 1 and 2, but before that we actually do see Harvey Dent, pre-Two-Face, in a couple of episodes, as the District Attorney of Gotham City. We also see the Penguin. There's also some retrospectives and behind-the-scenes features on this disc set. There's The Dark Knight's First Night, which was a short which was done by Bruce Timm and others who worked on the animated series later on. This short came out, I think, in 1990 or 1991, and sort of introduced the basic look of the animated series, how the film, or how the creators of the animated series perceive it should look. That they should have a certain type of streamlining, certain types of characterizations as far as animation and things like that, and they really made it work. They really did a great job. There's also the very well-known and famous Heart of Ice episode, which won an Emmy, by the way, a daytime Emmy for writing. A fellow named Paul Dini, who is also credited with creating the Joker's hench-wench, Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn, a character who became so popular that she was even incorporated into the regular Batman comic book, and into the various Batman titles. Also see Feet of Clay Parts 1 and 2, which featured Clayface. We see Beware the Gray Ghost, which features the original Batman from the 1960s, Adam West, as the voice of Simon Trent, an actor known for portraying the Gray Ghost, who was kind of Bruce Wayne's childhood hero. Much like Adam West was to a lot of us as a childhood hero. Later on, if we can always remember watching the reruns of the classic Adam West Batman television series. And we also see the introductions of Commissioner Gordon and Detective Harvey Bullock and other characters. And we see also an interesting episode called Dreams in Darkness, where we see Batman locked up in Arkham Asylum because he is he was infected by some of the Scarecrow's fear toxin or fear gas. And it turned out that the Scarecrow was actually trying to dump this fear gas or this fear toxin into the water supply. Which makes one wonder, did Christopher Nolan watch that episode for inspiration for Batman Begins? Because as we know in Batman Begins, that's what they did at Arkham. Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow, played by Cillian Murphy, and his gang were actually dumping this fear gas or fear toxin into the water supply at Arkham Asylum. And of course, when it was combined with this device that was supposed to be for Wayne Enterprises, this device which aerosolizes it kind of makes the water, vaporizes the water, a water vaporizer. That was in Batman Begins. But interestingly enough, 13 years before, they did it on Batman the Animated Series, except without the vaporizing machine. But we do see the introduction of Poison Ivy, who was actually Pamela Isley, and she was dating Harvey Dent in the episode Pretty Poison. And we see her introduction. We see the introduction of several villains. We see the Joker on a few memorable episodes. We see Catwoman, Selina Kyle. There's also an interesting episode where Batman fought, for lack of a better word, an invisible man. A fellow who had stolen some technology, which it was a plastic, which you could cover yourself with, and then and then refract the light, and make yourself quote unquote invisible, as it were. There's also a good one, Appointment in Crime Alley, where we see Batman going to the place where his parents were murdered, which used to be called Park Row, and in recent years had become the area known as Crime Alley. And that particular episode was inspired by an issue of the Batman comic book called There Is No Hope in Crime Alley. We also see a fellow named Temple Fugit, who was sort of an associate of then Attorney Hamilton Hill, who became Mayor Hamilton Hill. And this Fugit fellow was a very punctual fellow, very much very rigid in his schedule. And then Attorney Hamilton Hill suggested that he take a little break, and that he not be so stringent with his schedule. Well, he did that, and unfortunately it cost him a court case, which was against then Attorney Hill's law firm. So Temple Fugit comes back 7 years later as the Clock King, and attempts to exact revenge on Mayor Hill. But of course, because of the Batman, he fails to do so, or fails to do that. But this is a really well designed box set. The episodes, some are good, some not so good. There's quite a few that I think are absolute classics, such as On Leather Wings, Heart of Ice, Two-Face Parts 1 and 2, Feet of Clay Parts 1 and 2. Some really good episodes on this particular set. If I were to rank this set just on the content alone, the content of the episodes. On a scale from 1 to 10, I would give this a 9. It's got some really good episodes on it. It's got some great special features, behind the scenes stuff. You know, some perspective from the filmmakers themselves, from the folks responsible for this great animated series. And it's a great disc set. I highly recommend it if you can find it. The funny thing is, when this set first came out, I kind of missed it. I missed it the first time. Even though it was available in stores, I somehow, I kind of put off getting it. And by the time I realized that I put it off too much, and I went back and it wasn't there anymore. But recently, just in the last, I guess it was last winter or last spring, I went back to Walmart, and sure enough, there it was. It was available, Volume 1. And it's still, actually, I saw it up there the other day. It's still there. So this is a great set. I mean, for any Batman fan or any fan of great animation, this is highly recommended.